Hey, welcome to today's episode of The Chaz. So today's actually my first podcast, something I wanted to do since my CB radio days. Back in the day when I was a kid, I had this CB radio, and I used to use it a lot to talk to a lot of people who I thought was in the area, or actually I don't know how far it went, but I connected with some people, and I actually enjoyed talking with them. And I was interested in doing like kind of like a committee. I really don't know what you would call it back then, but it's kind of like when you get together with some people and you start chatting with others that have like the same interests or views on reality, how things are, and what we can do to make things better, or how the government's trying to, or anybody really, that's trying to just defeat the purpose of streamlining everything, from the good to the bad, or to the tall, to the short, whatever it is, whatever the mad, ugly views of reality in today's world is. Of course, I did, but after a while I kind of gave up the CB radio, and I was thinking, podcast, I could do that. I was actually interested in getting together with a couple of people and just, creating like a show, something not too harsh, nothing too hard, nothing too light either, but just kind of like a round table sort of thing, and talk about all kinds of things, from space aliens to people's view on the tunnel, near-death experiences, to online gaming, to what's the better way of breastfeeding. I don't know, anything that you can think of that people should really openly talk about, so that others would kind of like shy away, but make it like kind of easy and interesting at the same time. It's kind of like more, I like to make the show more adult, but not throw a lot of vulgar words in there. And I can see something like oh shit, it's a mess up, and there's something light, but something not too harsh, like you're dropping F-bombs all over the world, and or saying something racist and disrespecting your fellow man and or lady and or neighbor or whatever, just something down to earth, like people talking with people. It doesn't matter who you are, if you're good looking, ugly, skinny, tall, short, fat, whatever, because we're all people, really. We all have our own minds, and yeah, so this is kind of like my cookie cutter of the of my first of many, hopefully of many, podcasts to do. And I'm kind of hoping that I'll be able to, I have like a whole bunch of topics I would like to talk about, but this is kind of like my quick cookie cutter, because I'm really not all that organized right now. To tell you the truth, I'm like literally at 5 different websites right now, trying to even create like a podcast station that I could upload and get my RSS feed, and just start things going. And when I started creating it actually, I got like this red link that said oh, your podcast RSS feed must contain at least one valid episode. And I'm like, really? Oh man. So I have to go make one like right now, because it's like 8 o'clock at night, and I was kind of hoping like to watch the Walking Dead episode or something on the internet, like Zulu or Netflix or whatever it is, just catch up and see how things are going or whatever. But I thought I would take the time for a few minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. This is already past 5 minutes, what it's telling me, and so I thought I would do this, and then maybe in the future when I start uploading other episodes, maybe just get myself out there and maybe meet people that have like the same interests, or maybe even the same age range, or it doesn't matter really what your age is. I mean, you could be younger, older, same age, I mean, as long as you have like a good talking point, and you can go for like 15 minutes to talk about a specific topic that you would like to get into, and then express your point of views, and hear my point of views, and then just kind of recap of what, like, we can agree to disagree. It doesn't have to be like he said, she said, or this is how it is, and this is how it's gonna be. No, I mean, just kind of common sense things. What works for you works for me. Let bygones be bygones, or whatever. But just talk about specific situations. Like, how do you feel the job is going, that the president is doing, of the current state or country or whatever, or how do you feel religion is kind of like separated but kind of like the same across all different cultures or whatever? Or how do you feel fish taste from one part of the world over the other part of the world? Like, the Atlantic Ocean fish tastes better than Pacific fish, or maybe the fish in the something Great Lakes or whatever, or the things, or anything really. I mean, we could talk about nonsense or just about anything that would kind of give someone a little bit of not so much, I'm not really here to entertain people, because I'm not like a circus clown or anything. I don't do tricks, and I'm sure if I tried to stand on my head, I would definitely crack my neck, and believe me, that's not good, because I had an accident once, which I will talk about maybe in another podcast. I think that's a good topic I could start with. But like I said, this is kind of like my cookie cutter, and I just came up on the 8-minute mark, and I just downloaded this cool new app off of Google Play to publish, and wow, that's a lot to talk about. To kind of like publish my podcast, and I think, if I'm not completely inaccurate, but I think I've been talking in one long continuous sentence without pausing for like 8 minutes. I mean, that's crazy. So obviously I have a lot to say, but truly I just want to get like a 10-minute podcast thing out there to introduce myself. My first name is Charles, but I thought I would name my channel or my podcast The Chaz, because sometimes some people call me Chaz, and I did kind of like I like it, you Chaz it up a little bit, and even though, that now that I think of it, that is kind of like a cartoon reference, isn't it? But I kind of like it. But it's only because it's like short and sweet, and or maybe not so sweet, but it's kind of like the point. I mean, you could. Well, this is Charles's podcast. No, I think we'll just call it The Chaz. So, in any case, if anyone wants to join me, I don't know how you can get me some messages or whatnot. I guess I'll set that up later. But until then, this is going to be my first official Punchline podcast. Just announcing myself that I'm going in there and I'm gonna tear it up. I don't know what I'm gonna tear up yet, but yeah, it'll probably be interesting. So I'll think of some topics. Till then, thank you so much, and have a good evening. Bye now.